afternoon. Thank you so much for staying with us here on TV 47. Welcome to Newsfeed. My name is Mumbi Chege. Now, the Kenya National Union of Nurses is accusing the government of neglecting health workers in the country in the fight against COVID-19. Now, at least 4 health workers died of COVID-19 yesterday, and the nurses say they have been calling on the government to exempt the vulnerable healthcare service providers from serving Kenyans at hospitals. Healthcare providers also say they have not been provided with PPEs. Let's listen into that.
Exposed to the COVID-19 havoc. It is shameful to the government that healthcare workers have to conduct fundraising in order to pay for their medical bills in both governments and private facilities. The recent declaration by the Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Mutahi Kagwe, that NHF has no money to foot the bill for COVID-19 patients, that Kenyans and healthcare workers are on their own if they contract the COVID-19, has put the healthcare workers in confusion mood and leaves a lot to be desired in terms of what is the priority in this country. Fellow Kenyans, it is unfortunate that we have so far lost 4 clinical officers, one of whom is an intern, and 3 of them are senior clinical officers who are specialized in different areas, including anesthesia. May their soul rest in eternal peace. It is in their memory that we shall fight to ensure no further unnecessary death for this category of healthcare workers. We wish to notify the country that the total number of those who have tested positive for clinical officers are 637, whereby this almost a half. In the mid of last month, we only had a number of 300, but now it has risen to double the number to 637. As currently, when we are presenting this, we have 6 of them who are actually have severe symptoms and admitted in several hospitals across the country. Despite employing hurriedly employing healthcare workers on punitive terms in the name of universal health coverage staff, these staffs remain unpaid for 6 months now. To our surprise, we are aware of one of them who have lost life without any pay. Majority of whom work in these isolation centers, and they were never even considered for COVID-19 allowances that was given by the president, despite actually having been designed to earn a major pay, and without health risk allowance, so to say. Most of our members in the country, like Meru, Kitui, and other many counties, have experienced prolonged delay in payment of salary, sometimes up to 3 months, yet they are expected to purchase their own PPEs and pay their medical bills when they contracted the disease. In this regard, the union will have no option but to call the advisory meeting so that we can consider discussing the issues of the rising infection and death among healthcare workers, and subsequently consider issuing demands to the government within the provided 7 days so that we can be able to be provided in the demand that we have been able to raise. This is actually to say that
Now, ODM leader RAILA Odinga is currently holding a regional meeting in KISUMU to drum up support for the BBI report. Now, ODM is meeting governors from the larger is meeting governors from the larger Nyanza region and Western, and a host of regional leaders on the agenda, being to plan for the collection of signatures in support of the BBI. The exercise is set to kick off on Thursday next week. Also attending the meeting is the Inter and Coordination of National Government CS Friend Matiangi, who will represent the national government in the deliberations. Now, leaders from pastoralist areas insist that the Building Bridges report should be amended before going for a referendum, now led by former Majority Leader Aden Duale and several MCAs. The leaders say that the pertinent issues raised by the Catholic Church and pastoralists cannot be ignored, and ask the President to take control of the process to avoid contested and divisive referendums. Speaking after donating equipment and materials to boost women businesses, Duale said some corrupt individuals are hiding behind the BBI process and purport to support it in order to evade the dragging of the EACC and DPP.
Viongozi wa Islamu wakiwa hapo, wafanyabiashara wakiwa hapo, viongozi wa Wakristo wakiwa hapo, wamama vijana wakiwa hapo. Tutengeneze document ambaye kila Mkenya anakubali. Na ni lazima usikize viongozi wa Kristo, Catholic Church. Lazima usikize viongozi wa Islamu. Lazima usikize viongozi wafugaji. Wewe usituambie tutasikiza yako pekee. Na mimi nataka niwaambie serikali na wale wanaendesha BBI, musidanganywe na wale ambaye wako na kesi za corruption, ambaye wanafikiri wakisupport BBI watapata nafasi ya kupotea hiyo kesi yao. Kesi yako iko na DPP, my friend, iko na EACC, haiko na BBI. Wewe pambana kesi yako kotini, pambana kesi yako na DPP, usijaribu kuleta kimbelembele.
Now, the body of the late MATUNGU Member of Parliament, JUSTUS MURUNGA, has been transferred from St. Mary's Mortuary in Mumias, Kakamega County to Leaf Funeral Home in Nairobi as funeral arrangements begin. The MATUNGU legislator died last evening at St. Mary's Hospital in Mumias after complaining of breathing difficulties. He had earlier on been discharged from Aga Khan Hospital in Kisumu, where he had been diagnosed with diabetes, with reports indicating he died of COVID-19. Now, family members led by his younger brother say his death came as a shock to them. However, his colleagues, led by Mumias East legislator Benjamin Washeli and his Bumula counterpart Mwami Mabonga, have mourned his demise, saying the parliament will miss a great person.
JUSTUS amekonjeka kwa muda mfupi, isipokuwa alikuwa anakonjeka akitembea. Because he was once admitted in Mombasa. Wakati huo ndio alipatikana na ugonjwa wa kisukari. So alikuwa anaendelea na hiyo hali ya matibabu. So tangu last year admitiwa Mombasa, admitiwa kwa hospitali nyingine. Ila tena juzi sasa alikuja akawa na maumivu, na tukamrequest aende hospitali na akakubali kwenda Aga Khan Hospital.
That Murunga had left us. Murunga was a friend, Murunga was a colleague in National Assembly and Parliament. And maybe as a leader from this region, I just want to take this opportunity to pass my condolence to the family and to the people of Matungu to have lost such a charismatic leader, a leader who spoke his mind, a leader who was focused and who was interactive, who was social, who could meet his people and electorate any time.
We have lost a very great gallant soldier in the battle. I say in the battle because politics has a lot of dynamics, and at times when people take positions, some may choose to stand on the fence. Murunga was not one of them. Murunga could make a decision and stand with it.
Alikuwa mchapakazi. Kwa saizi hata Matungu at least kulingana na vitu kama basari na nini zilikuwa at least ziko kwa hali ya juu. Kwa saizi basari alikuwa amezitoa, maendeleo zake kwa shule alikuwa amefanya.
Security ilikuwa mbaya Matungu hapa. Kweli alingangana, ngaja alikuja akashikwako, lakini ilikuwa hali ya kupoesha maneno. Paka Matiang'i akakuja. Sasa tunalala, hata unaweza lala mlango wazi, hakuna shida yoyote upande wa security. Vituo amejenga wananchi stendi changa huko, ameongeza hapa polisi wengine hapa Mayoni.
Quite unfortunate. Meanwhile, leaders led by Deputy President William Ruto have mourned the Member of Parliament, terming him as a dedicated Member of Parliament. Though a member of the Amani National Congress, Murunga was a key ally of Deputy President William Ruto and his Tanga Tanga movement, often helping to arrange political meetings in the region. Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya was among the first leaders to send condolences to his family, describing him as a hard-working and selfless leader. Let's go back to the BBI report. A section of Ukambani political leaders have warned that they will rally the community to reject the Building Bridges initiative if its proponents do not create an avenue for consensus. The latest voice to oppose the document is Kitui East Member of Parliament Nimrod Mbai and former Yata Member of Parliament Francis Mwangangi. Recently, Kitui East Member of Parliament Nimrod Mbai threatened to block the looming referendum in the court of law for its failure to enlist views of the people.
Sababu tumeona wamesema ya kwamba imefika mwisho, lakini haijafika mwisho. Tumeona mbunge imekuwa reorganized. Na nikisema hivi nasema ya kwamba wakati wa bunge iliyopita Mutapa Musimi ambaye alikuwa na kamiti ya budget waliweka pesa pale kupitia bungeni, tukafanya audit ya 2010 constitution. Na vile yale matokeo yalitokea, baadhi ya mazungumzo ambao Wakenya wao wenyewe walisema ni ilikuwa ya kwamba bunge ni kubwa, bunge ifunguzwe. Lakini tumeona kwa BBI inasema tuongeze. Kwa BBI tunaona tunatoa wakina mama wetu kutoka mbungeni kuu ya kitaifa kuwapeleka katika bunge la seneti ambayo hawatakuwa na pesa zile pesa za affirmative action. Na tunaona hapo hawata contribute kwa bajeti kwa yale miradi ambayo inahusu kina mama ama wanawake wetu. So tunawaomba na tunawauliza, lakini ikiwa wanasema imefika mwisho na hakuna mazungumzo tena, then Wakenya wengi tutaikataa, kwa sababu hii tunaona ni document ambao ina watu fulani na wana agenda fulani na wanataka kuilazimisha kwa Wakenya.
And farmers in Nakuru have called on the incorporation of crucial agricultural views in the Building Bridges Initiative report led by Nakuru County Farmers Federation Chairman Luke Kesei. The farmers said agriculture contributes a huge chunk of the GDP in the country.
To transform agriculture, we have made a few recommendations that we feel should be included in the BBI. Number one, budgetary allocation to agriculture sector should increase by 3% each successive year to not only hit but also exceed the Malabo commitment of 10% by the year 2025.
Na katika BBI tungetaka mkulima ahusishwe zaidi, azikiswe, apewe subsidized product za kupanda kwa shamba, apewe uwezo wa kusema yale yaliyo mashinani, vitu yake inunuliwe kwa bei nafuu, apewe extension officers ambao watamfikia kule mashinani, na awezeshwe kwa kila jambo ambao inahusikiana na mkulima.
Now, residents of JUJA Farm Village in JUJA, Kiambu County, can now breathe a sigh of relief after a bridge linking the vast area with Theta Ward was completed after decades of sustained movement challenges. As Lynette Gidua reports, the 2.5 million shilling project shall see the much-needed development within the area.
Residents of JUJA Farm Village have had their prayers heard after 30 long years.
For the last 30 years, hapa hakuna mtu aliweza kuuza shamba. For the last 30 years tangu nikuja hapa. Lakini saa hii wakati hii daraja iliundwa, nimeona watu investors wamekuja kuanza kukata mashamba hapa. Kwa hivyo it is part ya kufungua hiki kijiji chetu.
Over the years, failure to construct a bridge linking the area to the outside world resulted in stalling of businesses, which has culminated into the area lagging in terms of development. Access to social amenities past the Thiririka River proved to be a tall order.
Wamama katika hii barabara wamekuwa na shida sana wakienda kujifungua, hata wengine hawakuwa wanafika, wengine hata walikuwa wanajifungulia tu huko, hata watoto saa zingine wanakuwa na complication. But for now tunajua hata wale watoto wako jiani watafunguliwa wakiwa very strong.
The concrete bridge that will not only serve as a footbridge but as a drive-through, one that will ease movements in the area. Following completion of the project, locals say that the construction of the 2.5 million shilling project projects a robust growth in the area, with land appreciating to double its previous price.
Itasaidia kuongeza value ya mashamba ambayo ilikuwa pande hii ilikuwa haipandi bei juu ya daraja. Kutoka jana hii kumewekwa vibao huko inaonyesha plot hapa ni 1.2 na tulikuwa tunauza 500,000. So imepanda na mara mbili. Na hiyo ni baraka kwetu sisi wote.
Lynette Gidua, TV47.
And police in Molo, Nakuru County have arrested over 200 people in different sectors over breaking the COVID-19 rules. Among those who the acts fell on include matatus that had filled passengers beyond capacities, bars and eateries which did not have thermal guns, and changadents which have been termed as being notorious for brewing killer drinks.
In a bid to curtail the COVID-19 cycle in the country, the Molo Police Department embarked in a raid where over 200 people were found in total disregard of the COVID-19 protocols. Molo OCPD Emmanuel Mukusi has now vowed to frustrate any efforts by those disregarding the directives by the Ministry of Health, and more so by Changa breweries.
Ninatoa tahadhari kubwa kwamba tutafanya kazi. Na wale wanauza chang'aa wakiwa wako tayari kuuza wataendelea kuuza. Lakini sisi hatutachoka kuwashika. Na wakifika kotini, najua pia watakuwa wanalipa faini. Na itakuwa faini ya kawaida. Tunasema matatu isibebe zaidi ya ile idadi ambayo serikali imesema. Na mwananchi anaingia tu akiwa anaelewa anafanya makosa. Mwananchi hata kama wakati huu ukikosa kuvalia barakoa, unaelewa ile tahadhari ambayo iko kwako. Wanafurahia polisi wakiwashika.
13 suspects were also arrested in connection with the manufacture and selling of illicit changa. More than 100 liters of brew were also nabbed. Reporting for TV47 in Molo, Nakuru County, my name is Rahab Kinuthia.
Now, the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, KNCCI, members will benefit from 200 million shillings in financial support as part of the post-COVID-19 financial support for business. Equity Bank and KNCCI signed a memorandum of understanding to provide financial and training framework to business persons.
Tunaingia kwa mkataba ambao mkopo watapewa kwa bei nafuu. Mtu akiwa member ya chamber atapewa loan kwa bei ile inakubalika, na hata interest rates ikiongezeka, vile mkataba yetu tumefanya nawa wataangalia vile watatreat members ya Chamber of Commerce. Hiyo ni vile tumekubaliana pamoja.
We had a privilege of having a meeting between the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, Eldama Ravine, and Equity Bank. And we are trying to train our members on how to take loans from the equity. Because of the COVID which came, and the government thought of giving some grants to the business community, and the government has given us around 200 billion in the whole Republic of Kenya, and we have said as Eldama Ravine, business people, we don't want to be left behind. So today we had a good meeting, good training from people from Equity Bank who are teaching people about entrepreneurship. They're also teaching us about financials, how we can manage our businesses, and also how we can do the budgeting and the rest of the things.
We started our training by mobilizing people within Mogotio constituency, and we had a very good response. The people who came basically were of various gender, that is women, young women and men. What we noticed was that the established old people did not respond. But our appeal is they are the ones who have got the experience in the business sector, and they're the ones who are the mentors of the young upcoming entrepreneurs. What we've noticed is that people are yearning more and more of education, and people are now more aware that if they come together and join the chamber, they will actually grow strong.
And I want to urge people in this county of Baringo to come together and pool our resources so that we can empower people. One of the biggest sectors who is doing employment is business. We are growing the economy of the nation, and also in employment.
And Ethiopians fleeing war in the northern Tigray region crossed a border river into neighboring Sudan on Saturday, some in boats, some swimming or wading through the water. Now they give accounts of the escalating conflict in Tigray state, where government forces are battling fighters loyal to rebellious local leaders. Now the small town is home to a camp hosting 8,000 refugees. Several hundred arrived on Saturday morning, with hundreds more crowded onto the rocky bank of the Tekeze River. Refugees told stories of artillery attacks and shooting in the streets, with fighting spilling over into neighboring Amara state, with access blocked to Tigray and communications largely down. It was impossible to verify the state of the conflict or to corroborate the refugees' accounts. Sudanese officials were registering refugees. And violent clashes between supporters of outgoing U.S. President Donald Trump and counter-protesters